Alright, screw this intro. So you're probably wondering, like,
how do I get good at knife?
well, I don't know why else you would have clicked this video. I mean, like, it literally says in the thumbnail how to get good at knife. So, I don't know why else you would have come over here. Like, I'm not trying to teach you how to play fucking shotgun or something. This is technically gonna be like a series of me telling you how to get good at certain weapons. Knife's gonna be first, and there's probably gonna be like 2 or 3 parts. That's pretty much it. Onto the video.
Actually, how can you be good at knife when you only have 3.6k kills on knife? You aren't good, you don't have diamond wrap.
Shut the fuck up! So, yeah. The first part is loadout. I'll show you which loadout is the best for like beginners. So the best loadout for beginners is pretty much bow, daggers, knife, and warhorn. I think this one is pretty much the most friendly for beginners. Keep in mind that there are multiple other loadouts that I personally use. For an example, there's RPG, daggers, knife, and satchel, which is also one that I use. And for my personal favorite, which you can also use once you get better at movement in the game, is bow, daggers, knife, and satchel. I'll be teaching like knife tech and other crap like that later on, but mostly, yeah, that's all the loadouts I really use. You can use your own, but I won't be going over some no-skill weapons like permafrost or freeze ray, since that's not really using knife. Pretty much for basic movement, if you're using the beginner loadout that I told you to use, all you really need to know is how to switch between your weapons quickly. This is so you can always have your knife out and only pull out bow and daggers for like a fraction of a second just for the double jump. Since this is a knife guide and not like a movement guide, I'll be assuming that you already know how to do shit like slide jump. For most explosive weapons, pretty much how you're supposed to use them effectively is you slide jump, and then like whilst you're slide jumping, if you're using the RPG, you look down and then use it the moment you slide jump. Now that was kind of bad, so what it's supposed to look like is this, where you get flung pretty fast. You're also supposed to use daggers for the double jump to just keep your momentum constant, so you don't like drop short of the ramp. I'll explain why in the ramp later, but for satchels, it's pretty much the same concept, except you also right click when you slide jump over it. You need to like do it faster. It's easier before the round starts since you can pretty much pre-fire the satchel. But pretty much, this section is pretty much just covering what you do the moment the round starts. Another thing to mention is that if you slide on a high surface, you'll go further. For example, if I slide over here, I reach about here. But if I slide on like high ground, I go further. The most basic tech that you need to know is just slide, turn 180 and stab. This is pretty much what you will always use to backstab someone. There is also the slide jump backstab, which is the same except you jump, so it's pretty short, the distance, but it's good for like having that extra reach because the knife hitbox is kind of weird. And there's just the normal stab where you stand still, and I'll show you some instances where that is pretty useful. Time to go over some knife tips that you'll be using within your games. The first tip is when you're going at a really high speed, always make sure to look in the same direction as your opponent. So as you can see in this clip, he's facing that way, and then I turn my camera and face the same direction. The second tip is to always try and predict where your opponent will be next. For an example, in this clip, I can see he's about to scythe up, so I predict that and slide backwards and stab him. This next tip is for when you're having a knife fight and either the other person is playing really aggressive or you just predict. If they do a hard slide towards you, you can just turn around and don't move and stab. Fourth tip is to just attack after them if it's a knife fight, since the knife will be on cooldown. The fifth tip is to make yourself unpredictable in knife fights. This is so they can't really, predict what you're gonna do next. And since they can't predict what you're gonna do next, you can make random aggressive plays and catch them off guard. Of course, what's the point of me giving you all these nice tips if they don't even work in game? So of course I'll be showing you some montages of me using some of the techniques that I've taught you in game.
First. Yep. How's that a backstab?
This probably marks the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll try and post more often. Please subscribe. It took me like 4 hours just to make the thumbnail.